McCurrie from FNB Wealth and Investments joins me now to unpack the latest movements on the markets today. Wayne, as always, thanks for your time. Let's speak about the overall markets first. Stark contrast to what we saw yesterday. The JSE today ending the day over 0.5% in the red. I've mentioned resources and financials dragging the local bourse, but what would you say were some of the other drivers?
Look, I mean, the whole market's down. All the major sectors are down. I mean, Sasol's one of the biggest losers because of a fall in the oil price. But I think there's just a general malaise in world stock markets after that very, very high US inflation number that came out a day or two ago. That's worried markets a little bit. The big recovery yesterday was just really because of the fall off we saw the day before in all the South African orientated stocks.
Right now, Wayne, something that's filtering through to a lot of the companies listed on the JSE is the riot and the aftermath. Tiger Brands announcing today that it's lost around 150 million rand in stock, and it's also had to suspend operations in KZN. I mean, your thoughts of all of these companies that are coming out with these updates really, really badly affected by the riots?
Yes, but as long as it's a one-off, you know, we will all recover from this, and the stock prices will recover because the market will look through what has happened. You know, once again, as long as it's a one-off and not going to be a recurring event. Now, Tiger Brands and many other companies have come out with an update. Most of them say it's uncertain to assess the damage yet. So Tigers is the only one that's put down a number on a piece of paper, but they also say the loss of profits can't be quantified yet. But clearly, not being able to distribute bread in a major area, major province, is a serious, serious concern. And it's not as though they don't want to produce, they can't distribute it. So it's no good making it if you can't get it out to the shops. And obviously then the government and our security structures have got to look at this with great urgency because literally people need bread to survive.
That's right, Wayne. And then on to some other news now. Standard Bank announcing that it's going to, or looking to acquire the remaining stake in Liberty for just over 10 billion rand. Your thoughts on them scooping up the remainder of that stake and really the opportunities that it presents for Standard Bank?
Well, look, they're offering quite a high premium, about 30-odd% higher than the closing price of Liberty. And Liberty has shown enormous value for a very, very long time. I mean, their reserves are very, very high. They're trading well below what they themselves think is a fair value for the business. And obviously, Standard Bank realizes that if they take it over, they can actually enhance their company by getting that discount to the underlying value of Liberty. And I think that's the reason why they're actually doing it. You know, many companies went in for the so-called bank assurance model where a bank owns a life insurer, etc., and it's been very mixed success. So obviously they said we'd rather just bring it in-house now. We're buying it at a decent, quite a low price, and let's get fully involved as one company in the provision of financial services.
Right, and then finally, very briefly, Wayne, the outlook on the price of oil. I mean, this has obviously got to do with that deal between OPEC and other producers. You mentioned it earlier, affecting the price of Sasol. But overall, what are you looking at in terms of that outlook?
Well, look, I think all commodity prices are very close to the peak, and I think they will all fall. Remember, there's no shortage of oil. It's an artificial shortage of oil being created by OPEC+. And the world will grow very strongly this year and demand will be very strong, but next year it's not going to grow at nearly the same pace. So I think we'll see over the next year or so falling oil prices. I mean, they are at very, very high levels at the moment, so I think they'll come down. Shorter term, I don't know, actually.
Right. Thank you very much, Wayne McCurrie from FNB Wealth and Investment. They're giving us a wrap of the markets desk.